Well, good morning, everyone, and much to my chagrin, I've not seen the end game. How many people here have seen the end game? Okay, you suck. How many people have seen Infinity Wars? Yeah, how many people have no clue what I'm talking about? All right, you're not going to enjoy it as much, Nina. Sorry about that, all right? So, it's not often I get up on stage and know every single person in the audience. So, good morning, everyone. It's been an absolute freaking pleasure knowing you and getting to know you this week, and thank you, because it's been good. So let's start off. It's over here, isn't it? Okay. So Homes.com. So how many people here have bought a home in the last 10 years? How many people here use Homes.com? Yeah, that's our problem. All right. So, how many people have heard of Zillow and Realtor and Trulia? All right. We are above them in the alphabet. All right. So just remember that. So we were a print company. And, so we're not exactly sophisticated. It's kind of more like this, all right? But we're smart. We're definitely smart. And so, we have a few problems making some of these transitions. It's not even from print to digital. It's from digital to really digital, and from, metrics that matter to really metrics that matter and drive the business. So we're going to talk about the end games to a means. I do talk fast. I have an accent. I have 125 slides in 23 minutes, so bear with me as we zoom through this one. And if you have any questions, please do. So there will be no spoilers here, but I will be teasing you a little bit. There you go. Not just with this. I'm going to be teasing you a little bit with this. No spoilers, but I'm going to start, obviously, with a little bit of interaction, because I do like knowing whether you know much about it. How many Avengers movies are there? Yes, sir.
22.
There is not 22 actual Avenger movies.
Six.
Who said? Oh, okay. Thank you. You get some candy. Thank you. All right. How to motivate people is very Pavlovian. There's 4. That is correct. 4 is the right answer. Well done. There will be some questions sprinkled in here. I do have more candy. All right. So this is how we're going to look at this today. And this is a framework that I've tried to develop within Homes.com. Team, target, tactics, tools, time, other stuff, test, track, and Thanos. Okay, it was really tough to introduce Thanos into Homes.com, but we're going to try today just to give you an idea. And this is based on, me being at Homes.com and being told, we really have to look at what's next, as well as the experience I've had in the agency side as well. So, let's go. So far, so good? Everyone following along? Yes, sir.
Will you be tweeting during your presentation?
Okay. Entirely possible if I have my hand in my pocket. That's all. All right. So, a bit of background on Homes.com. We are big. We have a site with 110 million pages. So sometimes, we're very smart about that, but sometimes we move quite slow. That is the challenge with having a massive site and a company that hasn't quite got, we've got digital. We haven't got digital plus. All right, so this is it. We're traditionally focused on traffic. So in the mandate of what I said, I think that leads are a much better way of holding on to people. And so we basically pivoted to focus on traffic and leads. We needed a new perspective of how to do that. So I was mandated with creating a new department in February of this year. All right, so we started with nothing except me and a few ideas. And we're orange and not green. Just in case you're wondering why we're orange, it's our colours. I do like orange. Okay, so what is a measure of success? Anyone know what the Infinity Stone that one is? It's what is it? Soul Stone?
No, oh God. Real estate.
Okay, it's exactly, it's real estate stone. So traffic, page views, this is the way we look at it, to leads. So if we get more traffic, we get more page views, we get more leads. Our customer retention goes up, revenue goes up, I have a happy boss. All right, it's really simple how this works. And this can work in your business too. You've got to realize what the very top funnel is and how it moves down through to actual revenue and the happy boss. So when we're looking at that, my actual goals and how I stated this in the mandate that I came up with was we have to drive incremental traffic and we have to drive incremental leads, but that's not always on Homes.com. All right, now that's an interesting way of looking at it, because we're not necessarily driving traffic to Homes.com, but we're trying to drive leads overall to Homes.com. That doesn't mean we're involved in CRO on Homes.com, but it does mean we're trying to build out something that goes beyond Homes.com. So, build a team. Nick Fury, all right, he built a team over how many movies was it? No, because he actually did the 22 movies. Woo! All right. he built a team over that side. So it wasn't just the Avengers, but he built over everything. So that took a long time. And so my thought was, I have to build a team, but I don't want to build a team and say, I just need one person. I want to build out for the future. Because you can always go back and say, hey, look what I said a year ago. This is what the guys I want, as opposed to saying, oh, I want another guy, another guy, another guy. So I basically build out this. All right? I said, this is what I want for my performance marketing team. I want to have Grant at the top, obviously, always Grant on top. My paid search, a designer, coder, a content person, and email. That was the kind of the initial channels that we talked about. And then there were some other resources that we were going to work with outside. So I wanted that. I knew I wouldn't get that day one, all right? Although it's a nice new department, it's tough to hire in Norfolk, Virginia, where I'm from. And so we ended up doing whatever we could get, all right? So I ended up with 4 people in my team. And I had to take that, but my boss knows that I have a 12-person team build out. All right, so can you be cool like Nick and accept that? Probably. It's a bit of a pain. What year was Nick Fury born?
54.
Also not correct, John. All right. Anyone have an idea? He's older than me. That doesn't give you anything. No guesses?
61.
61 is incorrect. Come, we've got to move this along. No? Okay. 65 also wrong. He's way older than me. This is it. There you go. You just get candy because you're having breakfast. There you go. Thank you. What year was he born? 1950. That's correct. Yeah, round of applause for the lady in front there. Good. Thank you. So people from Minnesota know these things. Is that right? No. People from Wisconsin know these things. They know where Wisconsin is. I don't. All right. So the next thing we talked about, so we've got the team. We defined the team, the people that are going to get the shit done. Next we talk about the audience. How do we target the audience? What is the target that we want to do? So this is the end game audience. I don't know, someone did a spoiler and he got beaten up in Hong Kong. Did you know that? No, okay, not the kind of person you want. So sometimes you get a little crazy inside the team and inside the company as well, because our brand team really knows the audience. They don't know the audience, all right? They think they know the audience as like this 35-year-old mother with 2 kids that's looking for a home and her husband's at work. That's not what it is. That is one part of it. How many people here have bought a house in the last 10 years? Hands up again. How many people of those, keep your hands up, are 35-year-old women with 2 kids? Okay, there you go, you see? Tony, keep your hand up. All right. No, but this is the problem. It's not just one set. And our brand team gave us their personas, and it was like, this is the one thing. No, we want to know what the real audience is. There was a little bit of infighting on this to let me do that. The first thing was the most obvious. So we took the brand team's idea and we did that as the most obvious. Okay, it's someone that is ideally pre-qualified, just looking for a home in a certain area. They go on a search engine and they search for homes for sale in XYZ location. That's number one. Then we tested a whole load of other things and we let the data decide, and you hear that a lot from me. We let the data decide on who the ideal audience is, no matter what it might say. And there's a great book, by the way, by Patrick Lencioni. It's called The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. You do not have to all agree, but you do have to buy into it. So I had to convince my boss and the brand team that we were going after the right people. All right, so I have to have data to do that. So we went to the Google in-market. We did some display testing that allowed us to get an understanding of what was working best there. We worked with Amazon to build out a custom audience. So they basically pixeled our site, and it showed us what they're interested in, and we tried to do some lookalikes from that. We did some intent-based stuff. We did a lot of testing, basically, based on time, based on query, based on other segments, and a lot of other shit. All right? And when I say that, that's a technical term. We tried a lot of stuff, a crap ton of testing. That's also a very technical term. All right? And we found that dynamic search ads gave us actually a really good understanding of who was searching and what we could afford to go after. All right? Is Mike here from Georgia Pacific? Hi. Crap ton is not a Georgia Pacific metric. All right? See? That's just for you, right? That was about 12:15 this morning. How can I make a joke for Mike? All right. So DSA helped us define some of these audiences, some of the stuff, and figure out what demo worked best. So we really kind of reverse engineered on Google. So everyone's familiar with dynamic search ads. You basically throw it at a portion of your site and you let Google decide kind of what the content might be, what keywords to target. So it gave us a very, very good reverse engineer of what our site should be about. So it was pretty cool. And then we asked ourselves, how else can we target those kind of audience and those kind of intents? And that really helped drive the strategy overall. So far, so good? Right, I'm having a quick glass of water. I forgot my water. All right. Okay, tactics. Once we know that we have the people to do it and we have the, kind of an idea of the audience we're going after, what are we actually going to do now? So we had to kind of think out the box. I hate that term, but we did actually have to think out the box because we weren't sure whether Homes.com was the best conversion area, whether we could drive people to it would be the best way of optimizing our money. So this is a great scene, by the way, from Infinity Wars. I love the Star-Lord when he says, no, if it's my plan, it's going to be a good plan. Well, this is what I had to say to my boss. I'm going to have the plan. It's nothing we've ever done before. Is it okay if I spend our company money on doing it? And luckily they said yes. And this is how I positioned it within the document. Oh, thank you, Steve. Thank you. Oh, I didn't drink last night. I actually spilled it down my shorts. I mean, honest, true story. All right. So tactics start with strategy. The strategy was based on the budgets and how we can best allocate it. It was kind of, not unlimited. Performance marketing was test everything. The feedback loop, basically let the data decide and don't try and guess the future. Because, a lot of stuff we have tried in the past and it doesn't mean it's not going to work again. So there's a lot of stuff there that I couldn't tell my boss is definitely going to work, but I could say that this was something we were going to try. So, tips of the day. Number 1, all right? Do you remember this scene? Yeah, they almost get the gauntlet off. Remember that one? Nodding heads. Yes, yeah, good. Thank you. And it doesn't. It doesn't because Star-Lord gets kind of transfixed by Thanos being a bit of a dick to him, and so emotion takes over. And so my whole thing is never let emotion decide what's going to happen. It's always going to be the data. That doesn't mean gut doesn't have a part to play, but we always say don't let emotion get in the way. Number 2, never say we tried that before and it didn't work. Okay. All right, who's this guy? Yeah, that's right universe, wrong movie segment, yeah. We tried that, it didn't work, all right? And that was a gratuitous use of Deadpool, and if you have a chance to go to that URL, please go to that URL. It's very funny, it's next movie. Who likes Deadpool here? That's right, it's freaking awesome. All right, so what's Deadpool's first name? Who's that? Wade, thank you, sir. All right, now this could be, Howard, watch your head. Oh, there you go. Well, did I call it though? Did hit his head, okay. All right, Wade, thank you. We have good insurance, is that right, Steve? Okay, excellent. All right, thank you. So based on the idea of we had a high-level strategy, test a lot of different things we've never tried before. We had the team to kind of be in place, and we had, the idea of what we wanted to do from a tactical standpoint. What did we decide to focus on? So, first thing is, did we really need Google? And the answer was yes. We really needed Google to help. We need to get, that's me with new Googlers. You ever seen that? Okay. We slice and dice the Google DSA and we end up with about 15 different DSA campaigns. All right, and those are different ones based on some geo-targeting, based on some different demographics, just so we can test and see what works best. And it helps build our retargeting pool, which was one of our secondary strategies. It's how to get more people to Homes.com so we can retarget them as well. Obviously, as you guys know, one of the best and most efficient channels we have is our LSA, so it allows us to basically build that pool so we can get more people there as well. And since January, we've managed to reduce our CPA about 45%. That's pretty good. I can go to my boss and say, hey, can we have 35% more money? We're still spending less and we're generating more. So that's good. A lead for us is when someone submits a request on a home to connect with a real estate agent. All right, yay for Google. We like Google. All right. As a challenger brand, though, how can we really do it different? Because we can't outspend Realtor, we can't outspend Trulia, we can't outspend Zillow. So we looked at microsites. How can we generate traffic and interest off of Homes.com? So based on research, based on where we believe there was some white space, we started building out microsites. So the question I asked my team is, why would someone give their personal identifiable information to us? Why would they do that? What's the value for them? You can't just have a microsite and say, give me a lead. So we have to think of something. So how can we nurture? We thought about home trends. All right. How many people go to Zillow to check on their home prices? Yes, that's right. Because it's like crack. All right. You want to know whether you're winning or losing money. So we figured home trends was a good way to start. So We built out, the first site was Washington, D.C. home trends. You go there, you take a quiz to understand where in DC you'd like to live. We present you with a nice information. This is kind of a visual quiz to go through it. You end up in somewhere like Brightwood Park neighborhood. It goes information. There's a lead form that pops up, and it says, would you like to learn more about the trend? So we're nurturing prior to the sale, and this is a lead that I can sell to a DC real estate agent. We don't actually sell leads, but we can give to a DC real estate agent as a part of a retention play. So this is one idea we came up with. So far, and it's just a couple of weeks, we're at 100 quiz completes with a nominal social spend, like less than $500. We haven't had any leads yet, but we're tweaking this constantly to see how we can get more engagement with that stuff. Another one, microsites. We thought there was a gap in the search market for Spanish-speaking people. How many people here speak Spanish? Muy bien. Okay. All right, so we ended up creating casa.homes. So we own the .homes domain, we're top-level domain. So casa.homes, which is homes.homes, in case you speak Spanish, and if you don't, it's homes.homes. All right? And so we did this, and we launched it last week, and we got actually 2 leads. 2 leads already, all right? So that's not bad. Now, one person wanted to live in Wisconsin, one person wanted to live in not that Wisconsin's a bad place, but someone wanted to live in California and stuff like that. So we route it manually right now to an agent. So we think that's got some good legs to start pushing. It's ranking organically already after 4 weeks, and we had a warm-up site for a while. So that's great. So that's another idea of how can we generate off of Homes.com. Relead. Okay, you submit a lead on Homes.com. What happens? Well, it goes to a lot of agents, and then they call you up. They say, hey, you're interested in a house. So what we decided to do is follow up on that. Is after someone submits a lead, we ask them nicely, did someone contact you? And were you happy about it? And so we tested, and this is just over the last month and a bit, we tested 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 7 days after the lead to see what the best response was. And so we did about 11 billion iterations of that. It's a really big number with lots of zeros. Anyone here tried 11 billion different things? No, good. All right. And we found a simple form worked best. Hey, did someone contact you? A yes, no thing. This is a lot of iterations in. We then send them to a survey. The survey says something, we're very satisfied, we're not satisfied, they can contact us and other stuff. And then eventually it goes to a lead, right? And the reason this works is that agents don't always follow up. All right? And that's great because that gives us an opportunity to follow up and create a re-lead, a second lead that can get routed. We do follow up. So that's something that we started off, like I say, a few weeks ago. We've got quite a few responses. We've generated enough leads to keep going. It hasn't been a massive number, but we've generated enough, and we've now expanded to national. So every single lead that comes in, we re-lead them, we remarket to them. Okay, display. So what we decided to do on display is we got 2 agencies, and we decided to have them test each other a little bit. So we had each one set up and give different ideas, different concepts, kind of different targeting, or their best idea of targeting, and then we tested it out. And we spent quite a lot of money to find out it was good, bad, or ugly. I mean, quite a lot of money is relative, but $100,000 in, there was no winners. All right, so display for us is not a great DR medium. Not a surprise, but if we didn't test it, we didn't know. We had a good gut feeling. So the goal was display doesn't work for us right now, but we're still going to test it again. All right. Tactics, partnerships. So local newspaper sites. Maybe in your town you have a local newspaper site that has a real estate section. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be powering that with a Homes.com search form. So in the process of finish off negotiations there, it's going to be pushed out on lots of sites. That will drive traffic back to Homes.com that has some relevance to it. We're distributing it in the next few months on 100 sites. Email. Email stuff we're just starting to get into right now. We're taking over the general email campaigns, and hopefully we can get some return on that, but I don't have any information to say it's good, bad, or ugly, and there's a lot more stuff. All right, we started in February of 2019. I do not sleep much. All right, that is a lot of shit to get done with a 4-person team. So you can understand performance is about trying to optimize every part of what you do, including the people that work around you. And I have a great team. All right, a random question. How many legs does a spider have? Crispin, did you say 8? You did? Did you say it really quietly? Okay, you get quiet M&Ms. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Okay, thank you. There you go. All right, that's right. Dull. Right. So tools. Tools, find, rent, buy, build. All right, so obviously powering all this are tools, okay? And I'm going to go through the next few slides pretty quickly. It doesn't have to be difficult, okay? You don't have to invest, $1 million in negotiating out a tool contract. We just don't have the time. So we subscribe first. We look at the best consumer tools, and then we look at scaling if it works. So we're just investing in a pay every month software as a service type thing, and we see how we go. So we're not going to go crazy. We're using MailChimp and SurveyMonkey and a few other tools, SEMrush and everything else. We build it, though, if it's speedy, if we can get it done quickly. So historically, if you have worked in a large brand, there's lots of priorities. So our development team isn't always fast. They're very smart. They're very cool. They're very good. They can't always be fast, so we sometimes outsource. So we have a company in Lithuania that we deal with that knocks stuff out really quick. We partner where necessary, so we leverage the licenses. Like for DV360, we weren't going to get a license, so we went to an agency and we leveraged their license for that. So that helped us do that optimization. And we roll our sleeves up. We still do manual, so we get a lead in and we manually submit it into our system. There's no way of ingesting it in from MailChimp right now. So this is, we built out, and remember, February, we built out, still being built. This is our home trends. So we can automatically build a home trends chart from any area in the States. And we can embed that in an email. We send to people for a home trend standpoint. We can embed it on a website, updates automatically. So that's pretty cool. So we got that developed in about 4.5 weeks. All right, not trivial. And we have about, it's over 200 gigabytes of data driving that. All right, so it's pretty cool that we managed to get that done quick. All right, time, everything has limits, budget, seasonality, and my patience, and your patience now perhaps as well. Time is a major component of it. You've seen we've done a lot in a little period of time. So we have to be willing to do it, test it, learn from it, and move on if it doesn't work. It's really hard to let go of a baby. I don't mean that from a creepy way. It's really hard to let go of something you just built or something you think is going to work and it doesn't. So we have a fail-fast mentality, which we're trying, and we have to move on. We start small, so we start with like a little regional area, and then we'll expand if it works. We let the daily side not gut. Okay, that's me with my shirt off last night. Just want to say that, okay, maybe not. And we respect the timelines and move on. So if I say to my team, we have two weeks to prove this out, we have 2 weeks to prove that out. All right? And prove it out means, do we see a glimmer of opportunity that if we expand, it's going to work? So that's how we kind of judge it, and the data does decide for us. How many minutes is the end game? It's not 3 hours. Okay, I know. How many minutes is the end game? 11 billion is wrong. 180 is also not correct. That's 3 hours. Math. Getting closer there, Tony. 182. Who said 182? Whoa! Look at that. Okay. No, it's perfect. Go. There you go. You got 2, see, for 2 minutes. It's good. All right, 182 minutes. Brilliant. All right, so test and track. Almost getting to the end here. Okay, always be testing. When you're not, you should be testing. And when you do, you should be tracking your results. Really key to do this. So we had our internal analytics team build out a Power BI dashboard for us so we can see all the different campaigns we're working on. It's always a work in progress. But we believe that tracking is about understanding that it's all incremental. So these guys didn't give up. If you remember the testing scenario, you remember these guys from Infinity Wars, they came up against the wall, they threw themselves against the wall, they died, they threw against the wall. They didn't give up. So this is our challenge with testing, and generally the challenge with internal testing in a company. It's pretty scary to keep failing. It's pretty scary to go back and ask for more money. It's pretty scary to wait for the results, and it's pretty scary to report failure. All right? But the way we do it is we show that we're working on new stuff and we show incremental success. And that's really the cool thing and the important thing. So we pivot fast and often, but it's within a strategy. So within the framework, it's trying, and we plan, we demonstrate results, whatever they might be, and then we move on or we expand it. It's really key. And this is the thing. When we got our first lead from a re-lead, we pushed it out to the whole company and said, woohoo, it works, yay! And everyone was really good. We have cakes. We had cakes. Because it's a new area and we want to keep people excited. We want to keep my team motivated. We want to make sure the company understands what we're doing. So we celebrate our success a lot. The testing side of it, when we work with internal or external partners, and thank you to the people I met with this week, this is going to be the framework we'll work with you in as well. It's limited exposure from a standpoint of spend. We don't want to really spend a lot of money to prove it doesn't work. We want to do a little bit in a short period of time. We want to define the ideal outcomes from the get-go. We want to obviously set expectations that are really cool. Define the next steps when it works, so we're not just waiting until the end of the test. We have a good idea. We're absolutely transparent, honest. If it doesn't work, we're going to say thank you very much, shake hands, buy your drink, and we're gone. That's it. We'll move on, and we'll come back again another year and say it's great, let's try it again. And we let the data decide. It's not about BS. It's not about view-through conversions 5 years down the road. It's about what happened then and how can we judge it now. From the metrics that matter standpoint, I just talked about that. We have to agree on a single point of truth, and that's the biggest thing in our company where we have 500 different data sets. We have to know what is the metric that we're looking at, and we decide on. Transparency, once again, we share everything with our partners, and what is Y less than Y? Okay, if Larry's here, no, he's not. All right, so. What is great to know what happened, but I want to know why it happened. And that's really what I asked my team as well. It's great. We just did this microsite. Why did we do that, and why did the results happen like it is? So that's kind of the tracking and testing, and trends are friends, which means if something's moving in a positive direction, it generally means it's going to keep moving that direction. So if someone can show me a trend that's working, I'm willing to just eke out a little bit more time, space, energy, and effort. Ooh, Thanos, we're almost at the end, you see? How are we doing so far? Yeah, whoa, yeah. Okay. Thank you. Good. Lights were in my eyes. Okay, so the ultimate end game. I love that bit when he arrives. All right, so the Thanos truth. We've all heard this before, eh? You know, half the money I spend on advertising wasted, the trouble is down which half. Yeah, who said that? Wanamaker. There you go. Crispin, you've done number 2 there. Good. This is a rethrow. It's like a relay, don't need different. Okay, good. All right, so John 1:6. Right. So it's interesting because, at the end of Infinity Wars, half the people disappear in the universe. A nice tie-in, you see there. It's pretty cool. Right. So if you're lucky, half the stuff that you do won't work. All right. If you're unlucky, more than half the stuff you do won't work. But my thing and my push and why we try so many things so quickly is that some of them will. And those are the things you're going to grasp onto. Those are things you expand. Those things you're going to invest in, whether it's a Google channel, whether it's a display creative, whatever it might be, however granular you want to get it, some of it will work. And that's really the key thing when you look at this. The more you throw at it, the more you're invested in the different channels, different tactics that you know have a possibility, the better it is. So, the framework. Team, plan ahead and work with what you get given. Target, define and redefine the ideal audience, even if you don't all agree internally or externally. Discover channels and execute. Everything is about execution. If you can't move quick, if you can't get the shit done and done well, it's not going to work anyway. So make sure you execute with a level of perfection that's just what I call least imperfect. It doesn't mean it has to be 100%, but it has to be good enough that you're proud of what you produce. Tools, find, rent, build, or buy. And we always try and rent first until we understand that we might build it. Time, set limits and stick to it. From a standpoint, always be testing and tracking that stuff. And then half of what you do won't work. That's really the framework of how we built this, how I justified it, how I built out a strategy overall to present to the management team of my company. So, finally, I do quite a few conferences. I was saying to John, not as many as I used to do. And I have one strategy that I want to make sure that you guys understand. It's killed it for me, for every company I've worked with, from Red Bull to Paramount to YPO to some of the biggest companies in the world. And I wanted to save it and share it with you guys now, okay? I am Groot. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Groot. Questions?
Yeah. Hi.
Whew. Nicole from Wisconsin, not Minnesota.
Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm. So you test a ton, which is awesome. How do you track everything you test so you know, 1, it worked, 2, it didn't, and just to go back and forth and go back to leadership?
Sure. So our single point of truth is actually Adobe Analytics, but we have Google Analytics is our secondary single point of truth. And so we tag every campaign and we track it through to traffic or conversions or page views. So you saw that when it starts off with traffic, then page views, then we have the secondary metric for sale page views, then we have leads, and then we have da-da-da. So we track it down there. So that's what we're looking at, yeah.
How do you
Visualize it?
keep it though? Do you have Excel doc?
So Power BI. So we had our analytics team build out. I went very quickly over that bit. Sorry. Yeah, Power BI dashboard that basically sucks in data from everything, including Mailchimp, and basically pulls it into a dashboard, and it gives each campaign out, so we can easily see what's working or not. And really, at one time, we could be testing a lot, but really at one time there's maybe 30 or 40 campaigns that are ongoing at one time because we rotate them in and out, stuff like that. Make sense? Cool. Yes, sir.
Oh, yep. Michael from RPA. So my question is, you asked for a team of 12 or however many it was, but you only got 4 right now. Who were the 4 people on your team that you prioritized?
Sure. So good. That's a good question. I had an idea of what would get us started pretty good because I had an idea that the microsites might be an opportunity. I had an understanding that some of the low-level email stuff, like the re-lead stuff, might be an opportunity. So and I definitely knew paid search. So paid search, I got a content person, and I got a designer/developer, and I got shared time in an email person. So who was working on the brand team. So that was my 4 I started off with. I knew that. Most of the other stuff is support staff from that. When you're building out that team, so everyone wants to be a manager. So get more content people and more stuff. And then we also started with 3 external agencies that help support us from a development standpoint, from a content standpoint, and from a paid search standpoint.
Grant, that was great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.